Oh my god, I can't even with this movie.
It's pretty good, huh?
I'm gonna do this whole review like a teenage girl.
No.
Like I do everything. No. We just came out of Jumanji, guys.
It was really good.
And I didn't know if you were gonna go see it. I mean,
I almost didn't.
because we are, we're big fans of the old one. I know you're a really big fan of the original.
Yes.
Because that was like, you were like a little kid, right?
Right. I grew up with that movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was a teenager, I guess. Or when did that come out?
95.
Okay, I wasn't.
So I was 10 when it came out.
I was young. I was young. Yeah. Yeah. So we really liked the original. And so we were ready to. We were.
I love the original.
Yeah, and Robin
very
Williams
attached
is
to it.
like one of
Yeah.
my big favorite
Exactly.
people. So yeah, and I showed you the trailer for this. Okay, I was all excited for this because I heard it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I'm a little more open-minded with movies than you are.
For the most part.
For the most part, especially sequels. I'm not one of these people who's down on sequels, and I think we might be in an era now of really good sequels.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it. I don't want to say it, but it seems like sequels are really good right now. So yeah, because we came out of this and we liked it a lot, right?
Oh yeah, it was really good.
And how did you feel?
I don't
expect you to prefer it to the old one.
No, I absolutely don't. But I wouldn't call it a true sequel to the old one.
You wouldn't?
No, I would not.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that, but I definitely would.
No, I wouldn't.
And they had a lot of links to the old one. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It was intended as a sequel. I mean, they mentioned characters from the main character from the previous film.
They may have intended it to be.
They
but
picked it up direct.
Way.
Why? Why is it not a true sequel?
Well, I guess in sequels they change the tone anyway. I don't know. I just didn't feel it was a true sequel. I felt it was. It could be its own standalone movie.
Well, yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Its own series almost of movies.
It is.
In a way.
You mean separate from the original?
Yes.
Why? I feel like you're just being nostalgia.
No, it's a completely different tone.
Like a lot of Star Wars fans
There's
right now.
a completely different tone to it. I didn't say I didn't like it.
I don't
it was
really
good.
feel like it has a completely different tone.
Are you kidding me?
All they did was swap it out from, instead of showing us, Jumanji coming to here, it's like we went into the game like Alan did when he was a kid in the first movie.
We watched the original film again last night, and it has a completely different tone than this film that we just saw.
Explain.
This is more of a comedy.
This is more of, well...
The previous movie
In the trailer, it looked like this was going to be more of a comedy than the original. It was, but it wasn't like... The trailer, it's better than the trailer.
Right.
This movie was way better than the trailer. And I would say it had a lot more heart to it and a lot more...
It did have heart to it.
Variety
yeah.
to the tone and the... the emotions in the film. Then, I mean, we were both crying at the end of this movie.
Yeah.
And part of it was because it connects well to the original.
Movie. That's not saying anything.
No, you don't. You do not.
But yeah, I mean, I loved it. You should go see it.
Yeah. What are we gonna? Let's talk about what it's about really quickly.
Okay.
We don't have to get into spoilers, but this movie's already been out for a while. This is like what, 2 weeks? It's been out. I'm not sure, but it's been out for a while. We're seeing it kind of late. I mentioned recently, gonna be kind of late with the movie reviews. I've got them stacked up right now, but we did just come out of this one, and I'm not gonna get into the spoilers because it's not necessary. Basically, it's a group of kids. It reminded me in this way. The way it started, it reminded me kind of a Power Rangers movie, the recent one that just came out. You have a group of teenagers, and they end up playing the Jumanji game. And if you don't know about the Jumanji game, it's a jungle adventure game. And in the original film, and it's based on a children's book, by the way. It's not actually based on the game.
Right.
But there is a game.
Right.
But it's based on a children's book. But basically, the first movie, You know, some kids played the game. One of the kids got sucked into the game and into an actual jungle where he was stuck for like, 20 years or something because nobody else was playing the game. And
28 years.
You have to finish the game. Yeah, you have to finish the game, you know, to come back or have your next turn or whatever. Because it's like a magic game, you know. And also in the original film, you know, they would roll the dice and it would have a little rhyme and some new danger would be unleashed, like a herd of animals, not just elephants, but a herd of animals, a stampede, and you know, bats, killer plants, spiders, monkeys just being unleashed,
lions,
and they're all kind of evilish, you know, everything's out to kill you, everything. And including a hunter named Van Pelt.
Yes.
In the first movie, there was Van Pelt, who was like this old English type hunter, you know, and like turn of the century. And then in this movie, they had Van Pelt also.
They did, and they changed him, which I guess makes sense if the game changes.
Everything in this one was modernized because in the old movie it was a board game.
Right.
At the beginning of this movie, and this movie picks up exactly where the first one leaves off. Like literally, they find the game in the same spot, you know, so a new well, at the beginning of this one, a teenager plays the game. He gets sucked in, just like in the old movie, but he's in the 90s. He's not from like the 60s or whatever. So we got this 90s dude who's trapped in the game, and he's played by Nick Jonas from the Jonas Brothers.
Well, was he? It wasn't Nick Jonas at the beginning.
It had to have been.
Why?
That was him. Oh, you're right. When he was inside the game, he looked... Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, when you go into the game, you look different. I did think he looked a little different, but anyway. And we got... Well, it was a video game when he played too, right? Yeah, so basically, in order to get more modern kids to play, like from the 90s and onward, the board game had to transform into a video game. And that's about the only spoiler I want to give, but anyway, so it ends up at the basement of this school, and these kids are in detention. And it's, when I said it was like Power Rangers, it's like, you know, you have the jock, and you've got the nerdy kid, and you've got the girl who's like got, I don't know, low self-esteem or something,
and the virgin,
and then well, there's like a couple of virgins, you know, but that was just like, that's the nerdy kid. That's the girl with low self-esteem. And then you have you know, the girl who's you know, always on her phone, popular girl, always on her phone and all that stuff. And is that everybody? Yeah, because there was like 4 kids only. So they play the game, and it's a video game now. And so they pick characters, and they actually, when they go into the game, they become these characters, because it's different now. It's a video game. And we actually see, this time, everything is in the jungle. I mean, you get all this from the trailer.
Yeah.
And, you know, the little nerdy kid becomes The Rock. You have the football player becomes Kevin Hart. So he's gone from being this big guy to this little guy and everything, who's not tough and everything. And then you have... everybody kind of becomes the opposite, you know.
Right.
The like pretty like cell phone girl, popular girl, she becomes Jack Black, and then you have who else? Who am I forgetting? The kind of like low self-esteem kind of girl, I guess. I don't know. Is that how you would describe her? She becomes Karen Gillan. How do you spell her name? Gillan. I always want to say. Gillian Anderson, you know, and that always gets me all confused. But Karen Gillan from Doctor Who, from what's one of our favorite sci-fi movies? Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, she's in that too. She's all blue in that. Yeah. But anyway, she's gorgeous in this movie. Red hair. Oh my God, her hair. I don't want to sound creepy, but I want to make a coat of it.
Oh my God, gross.
Nobody has to die. It's so beautiful. But
I love her.
She's gorgeous in this movie. Oh my God. She's gorgeous in Guardians of the Galaxy, and she's just like bald and blue. But so anyway, so you know, they become these kind of opposite type people, and it kind of like gives them a chance to like they have to like work together because they don't know how to be these people that they are now, and they like learn about themselves and all these lesson type stuff. You know, it's as you would kind of expect, but it's very funny. Did you find it funny?
Oh yeah, it was really funny. Yeah.
Yeah, and but it wasn't just funny. It was like a really good movie, and it was a fun adventure and everything.
And it was heartfelt and everything.
Yeah.
It was a great movie all around.
Yeah, we really enjoyed it. And you know, in the beginning, I wasn't sure how it was gonna go. I was a little unsure because when it's just the teenagers and
well,
I mean,
I kind of knew it was gonna be good with Karen Gillan and Jack Black and stuff.
Yeah, was that what convinced you to go?
I'm not a huge fan of The Rock, but
yeah, but what do you think of The Rock now? You didn't like him that much in this?
I mean, he was good in this.
He's good. He's I like him. You know, I think he's really good. And of course, everybody likes him. But no, I like him. And Dwayne Johnson is what he goes by now.
Excuse me.
His real name. I still call him The Rock, but everybody calls him The Rock still. But
Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Yeah, and without saying too much, because I don't want to.
I'm gonna go home and watch the original.
We just watched. We watched. Actually, this made me want to go and play video games. That's what it made me want to do.
Oh.
Maybe
I want to watch the original again.
I just watched it. I love the original. I just got it on 4K. But
amazing.
Yeah, for me, this one was a good sequel to the original. I mean, it worked for me as a sequel to the original.
That's good.
Not for you? Yeah, you already said.
It really, the movie worked for me totally, just completely and utterly. It was awesome. But the only connection that I felt was the mention of one past character from the first one, and just kind of the idea of the thing.
They had the drums. I mean, personally, I don't know how else you could have done a sequel.
I guess you could compare it to Mannequin and Mannequin 2.
No.
I
don't know how else you could have done a sequel without it being
movies,
a retread. You know,
I love both movies, but in reality, it would have been nice to have the same actors from the first film.
Why would they? That's like Jurassic Park when they're like, "I would never go back to that island." They just keep going back.
What do you mean? Oh,
I like the 2 and 3.
Yeah, but they accidentally get sucked in somehow.
Yeah, well,
let's say Kristen Dunst's child or something accidentally found the board game and started playing, and then she had to help the child get out of the situation by playing the game with the child.
But that would have been the same movie as before. That's what was great about this. As a sequel, that's what was great about this is it was like a totally different thing. And I think they're doing that more with sequels now. They're being a little more daring, and I think it's working. I think it's the better way to do it. I mean, I don't mind sequels that kind of retread, but it's, you know, then you really have to look at it like comparing it like hardcore. Low battery.
Do you think if Robin Williams had been alive, they would have done it that way?
Just kind of redid it?
They don't have
He
to
might have had a
redo it.
cameo or something. Or like they might have had to go to him to help him play the game or something. You mean they probably wouldn't have gone into the jungle or something? I don't know.
I don't think they would have approached it like this.
Maybe not, but I think it's good they approached it like this. Again, I think it made it different, you know? And it still worked for me as a sequel. But yeah, if Robin Williams had still been alive, he might have been in it. He probably would have.
Well, it definitely worked for me as a movie. It was
that's
fantastic.
Good.
That's good. I love the. Gosh, I don't even know what his name is, but I love him.
Which one?
From Flight of the Conchords and the X-Files.
Oh yeah, Murray from Flight.
Murray.
I don't remember his real name, but from Flight of the Conchords.
He's so funny.
He has a very small role in it, but it's such a good
prominent role. Yeah.
He's like the guy who like welcomes them into the game and sends them back home. Really whoever lives and goes back home. Really good movie. They changed Van Pelt, who was the main villain, to make him more like a video game, modern kind of
They
villain.
did.
But that's fine. That works, you know.
You know, it bothered me at first, but then I was like, oh, this is a video game.
Yeah, and it does a good job of like feeling like a movie about people who are living a video game, and not in a boring way at all, you know. So yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Me
I
too.
highly recommend, if you haven't seen it already, which I think everybody has.
It's really, really good. Go see it.
or if you want, deciding about whether or not to blind buy it when it comes out, yeah, I recommend it. I will be picking it up.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
loved it.
I know you did. Yeah, yeah. So go see it, guys.
Yay.
Good movie.